federal government must secure our border. That is the root cause of illegal immigration. Everyone wants to come to America. We're the greatest country on earth. And they're giving the green light by lifting Title 42 and the Remain in Mexico policy. And then we need to do something to more permanently redo our immigration policy. This is not just an El Paso County problem. It's going to be a problem for everybody in the United States. It's always been something that we've dealt with in El Paso County, this illegal immigration problem. It hasn't been as stark and in your face as it's been in the last few weeks. We were having an influx of illegal immigrants from Venezuela, and that most of them did not have sponsors. So at that point, what that means is that they couldn't leave the processing centers because they had nowhere to go. That required that CBP release them into the county, and in this case, downtown El Paso or the airport. And so we had all these migrants just standing around with nowhere to go, and it really was a very sad humanitarian issue. I'm not going to say it's not. But I think what the problem for us is in the county is that we're using local tax dollars now to process federal failures. So if the federal government were to secure the border, this would go away. They put this burden on El Paso County. And for whatever reason, the county has decided to open a processing center. Well, that's going to cost the taxpayers, local taxpayers, $6 million a year. And then you add in the lease. We're one of the poorest communities in Texas with the higher property taxes. We have one of the highest property taxes in Texas, almost in the nation. And so for them to say, okay, we're going to enter into 1 and 2 year contracts. So let's just say that this is a one-time bubble or influx of this kind of immigration where it all comes in at once. Well, the problem is that now the taxpayers stuck with these long-term leases and we have to pay for that. And so they're taking that money out of the Economic Impact Fund and the General Fund.
So we do expect to receive all funding through FEMA for this program. Our process requires there to already be funds that will cover the cost for the full year. We're going to have to dedicate the Economic Impact Fund, but knowing that the FEMA funding is going to fully fund this program throughout the year. If at any point those funds are no longer available, we would immediately come back and notify the court and work to draw down our operations if that's what the court wants.
Meanwhile, we're taking money out of local taxpayer hands and putting it into something that the federal government should be paying for. It's not like it's our job to process these migrants and hold them here. I like what Abbott is doing. I like that he's busing them out and he's sending them out to different states so that people can see how difficult it is to really take care of this situation.
You have Governor Abbott bragging about the fact that by his count, he sent about 11,000 migrants from Texas to New York City.
In a letter signed by 27 Democrats, they're asking Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to condemn the governors of Texas, Arizona, and Florida, calling what they're doing to migrants an inhumane stunt.
And right now, there are no plans to stop the busing or flying of migrants from Texas into other places around the country because, as the governors see it, what they're doing is both legal and the right thing to do.
To allow this kind of immigration, if they see that as humane, they're very mistaken, and they're going to see that when they start to see these immigrants going to their own communities and they are unable to take care of them.
Venezuela reportedly emptying its prisons, and those criminals are now entering the U.S. through our southern border. Quote, a recent Department of Homeland Security intel report received by the Border Patrol instructs agents to look for Venezuelan inmates released from entering the U.S.
I mean, it's not just about securing the border. It's everything that comes with all these people coming in that we have no idea where they're from.
The border is secure.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
Kamala Harris, she's totally removed from reality. It is not secure. I'm concerned that she's not in touch with what's happening on our border, and I would invite her to come and visit and talk to me and talk to these migrants so they can see what they've been going through. And you know what? I don't want them to come here. It's very difficult for our community. We're a poor community. We don't have those resources. And I want her to see what her unfettered immigration policy is doing to our border communities. And not just in our area, because they're not going to stay here. It's going to go through the entire United States.